Good evening. Welcome to the DonDiva Coaching Talk Radio Coaching Evening Edition. We'll start off this evening with the dynamic coaching hot topic of the day regarding stress and what it does to the body and also getting hooked. What I mean by that is you have to get yourself unhooked from being stressed all the time or constantly being in a stage or a movement of constant stress balling and things like that. But what we want to do is idealize on finding the ways that you're thinking that cause you the stress and then what you have going on in your life, lifestyle, or things that are external that may be causing those levels of stress and how to do stress and self-care in the middle of that. But we're going to start off our session with, as usual, our affirmations. I like to do that because that sets the tone and allows us to think positively and also to de stress. So, with that, let's start off with I am self confident. I am witty. I am calm. I am abundant. I am respected. I am prepared. I am light. I am awesome. I am okay. And then let's go right on into our material. The reason why I like to go in on about stress is that it is one of those type of things that you either will learn how to manage it or you'll learn how to take a grasp on it and really understand that you have to get hooked. And with that, we talk colloquially of being hooked by your mind or hooked by thoughts, by which we mean you get all caught up in your thoughts and have an extra strong influence over your actions. And that's one of the things about stress is that stress can have us determining whether or not we have a good outcome versus a positive outcome versus a negative outcome. And part of the problem is with that is that a lot of people get hooked into staying in a constant colloquial conundrum or cluster of fluff and continuing to stay in that moment of being stressed instead of finding solutions and things like that. And the reason why I like to talk about it is because stress has a major effect on the body. And then we'll go back into getting hooked to how to get unhooked from being stressed. Now, the things that stress does to the body is that it affects your skin. Think about this. Your skin pales as blood pressure is diverted from vital organs. And if you think about it, every time you get stressed, what are you doing? You're not breathing right, you're not eating right, you're not taking care of yourself and self care. And that's part of the thing we're going to go into as well about self care. Your heart, it begins to pound and it sends blood around your body and carrying sugar and energy and hormones. Example, adrenaline. When you have too much adrenaline going through your body, you end up being overstressed or you end up having a level of where your immune systems, your body tends to cut up on itself and do a lot of different things that it normally wouldn't do. And what you want to do is keep that from happening because you know God knows that you don't want to be in a moment and have a panic attack somewhere and end up with your heart palpitating and adrenaline rushing and you just end up either fainting or you end up having a panic attack right there. Also, here's another thing, your muscles, they tense in readiness for action. So staying in constant fight or flight is not good. It really taxes your body, your parasympathetic nerve, and your sympathetic nerve. And what you don't want to do is continue to build up that cortisol, which feeds the adrenaline. Then you end up being extra stressed, overstressed, and sometimes, like I said, getting to that point where you're having like a complete total meltdown. You never want to get to that point. Digestion. It affects your digestive tract. The process is shut down as blood diverted elsewhere and your mouth goes dry, avoiding extra fluids to the stomach. And with that, you don't want to throw off your digestive tract. Once you start doing that, you're going to start seeing yourself feeling bad. You know, certain things get affected by stress. You'll tend to have ulcers or you'll tend to have headaches or things like that. And long term, it does have effects on your body. Your body begins to turn on itself. Then you got to think about your secondary stress responses, your muscles, your lungs, your liver, different things like that. And when you're having liver bodily functions and things like that, fats and enzymes, proteins, things that are normally broken down, do not do that. They actually deplete your energy when you're stressed. So you got to think, if my body's stressed out, how's my body breaking itself down correctly, like it's supposed to, instead of breaking me down mentally, emotionally, mind, body. And with that, you want to say, in any situation, what does your mind manage to hook you into? Are you constantly hooked into, like, what I call woe is me ism, or always, God, things are not working out, kind of like your self deprecating thoughts and things like that? And then what sort of things does it say in order to hook you, like in your mindset, mind, body, like we talked about the other day, and connecting the dots? And then how do you manage to unhook yourself? What I want you guys to do is get you a tracking sheet. And I have those for sale and available on DonDivaCoaching.com. You'll be able to pull those up under products and whatnot. And that's going to be one of the featured products that'll be up for sale on the site. And you'll be able to get your things that you need to go and keep track of these different things, because things you're going to have is like triggering events or situations. What did your mind say or do to hook you at that moment? Also, how did your behavior change when you got hooked? What did the actions cost you? Like, literally, like we were talking about connecting the dots. You want to make sure that it's not costing you at the terms of like your energy, your money, your health, your life, your vitality, relationships, and things like that. You want to make sure that you're not worsening your condition or making it. What I would like to say is, I would like for you to make your conditions better, not worse. And stress affects all those different things. And you're going to get the warning signs there, because the warning signs of that are that physically, your muscle tension, headache, sleep disturbance, tiredness, increased breakouts, rapid pulse, nausea, indigestion, increased sweating, flushing of the body, face feeling hot, prolonged frequent headaches, susceptibility to mild illnesses, dizziness, faintness, breathlessness, chest pain, ongoing nausea, and stomach ache. And those are the things that when you are overstressed and you're getting hooked into being constantly stressed all the time, your body always has flight or fight syndrome, and you don't want that. Also, other warning signs are that behavioral, your appetite changes, compulsive eating, impatience, carelessness, hyperactivity. You might even find poor productivity and low energy. And that's what I meant by sometimes you have to identify your energy zappers, or people who go out their way to zap you of energy and deplete you of the ability to feel comfortability or non-stressful moments. And that's where we were talking about things that make your heart sing, because what you do not want to do is get to a point that things make your heart ache. And people shouldn't be the source of your stress, they should be the source of relieving it. Also, for work, think about how stress affects you at your job. Have you ever been to a job that's so stressful and you just get to the point that you're actually purposely on late, absenteeism, things like that? Um, Avoiding places and people, irritability. Sometimes being in sudden tears because you're so stressed out. And those are things that your body automatically does to relieve the stress. But prolonged, eventually that no longer works, being irritable and constantly at a high level of stress, because, again, it goes to your blood pressure, it goes to the headaches, the migraines, things like that. Then you want to think about the emotional effects that it has on you. And those things are, like they say with mental health, it begins to affect that behavioral and emotional. And you have to think about those: anxiety, sadness, moodiness, grumpiness, loss of sense of humor, withdrawal, feeling of isolation, low self esteem, feelings of guilt and shame, extreme anger, like literally something that might not have been so bad ends up being like a whole monumental, like complete crap show, because you're just so angry all the time. Or you might be overreacting. You might burst into tears over the smallest little things. And that's usually your hormones being out of balance because of the stress and the levels and depths of your central nervous system, and your whole body going into fight or flight mode all the time. You just kind of go helter skelter all the time. That's where you start looking into your mental health professionals and things like that. You might even find that your libido is going down low. You might find that where you normally would have been more randy and apt to go jump in the sack with someone, you're just kind of like, nah, I'm good, because your body's so stressed out, you can't even enjoy the act of actually being with someone intimately. And that's where we were talking about relationship management and maintaining those things. Because if your relationship is drowning you in complete total aggravation to where you're like screaming, You don't need that. You have to be able to get to a point that you're feeling flower beds of Eve. And that's relationships in general, meaning your work relationships, your business relationships, your acquaintance relationships, your social relationships. You should be feeling like this. And if you're not, you need to start writing down the things that are starting to bother you, and you need to identify those different things. And like I said, on that sheet, the triggers, the events, the situation, what did your mind do or say, and how did your behavior change? And then on top of that, how did you manage to unhook yourself from bad behaviors? So start writing. So in that, look at your thoughts and your perception and your depth of perception of things. Sometimes it will alter that. That's where that mental health goes into your mind, your emotional, and literally the behavioral parts of it, and your thoughts and perception go hand in hand. And you have to think about how does all of that affect different things, such as your cholesterol, your blood pressure, your digestion, your heart, your skin, your muscles, your lungs, your liver. Okay, because if you're thinking about inability to make decisions or muddled thinking or reduced co-coordination, creativity, becoming more vague, forgetful, negative, like you're globally just becoming so negative in everything that you do because your orbit, your world is nothing but stress. You don't need that. So what you have to be able to do is say to yourself, at that point in time, I've got to find a way to self-care. I've got to find a way to get myself in a good mode. And then on top of that, you need to be able to get into the practice of expansion. And part of that means that you're going to open up and make room for difficult feelings, urges, and sensations, thereby allowing them to flow through you without struggle or stress. And part of that is you don't have to like or want these feelings. You just have to make room for them and allow for them to be there. And even though they're unpleasant, you'll still be able to muddle through them and work your way through them without becoming a complete total cluster of stress balling, and where you're just like, oh my God, and just you can't win for losing. You're just at a point where everything just affects your whole body. And that's where the mind body comes into connecting those dots. And then once this skill is learned, if those feelings become a thing where they resurface or they come around, you're able to better yet say to yourself, I can rapidly make room for them and let them at least go and not staying there. That's what we meant by that other story about the monk and his protege, where the monk wasn't supposed to talk to women, but he carried the woman across the stream and whatnot, but he left her there, but the other monk didn't. So you have to learn how to unpack your stress and leave it there where it's at. Then you can also be able to switch your things over to invest your time and energy in doing something meaningful, life enhancing activities. And instead of struggling to grapple with whatever's stressing you out, you just need to be able to unpack it, leave it there to the side, and say to yourself, I'm not doing this today. And then you also need to practice breathing and practice de stressing, de escalation modes, and things like that. Then, on that expansion, what you're going to do is you're going to expand your practice or your locus of control each time you go from one stressful event to the other. But you're going to figure out your date, time, and the day that it happened and when specifically are your most stressful days. Then learn those days to put self care in there. And you can understand the feelings and sensations. How long did you practice? And then how long did it take you to struggle to switch from stress mode to de-stress mode and de-escalate mode, and then go from 0 to 10 and then switch on and off and try to see exactly where you're at. Gauge yourself and give yourself time for a week, 2 weeks to do this, to give your expansive de-stressing mode practice. Then also try to look at something for self care that will immediately get you de stressed. For me, it's music, MP3s, MP4s, something like that. Some good music that allows me to kind of get down to the next level of, okay, I'm good. I'm in a good space. Or go feng shui some area in your house and find a way for you to be able to self care yourself and take yourself to that area and just de stress. Like, I have a woman cave. I love my woman cave. There is a point where you just have to turn off everybody, leave me alone. I'm going to the woman cave. It's kind of like the bat cave, but it's woman cave. It just helps me preserve my sanity and get myself back in the zone and then go back to my normal, regular programming.